We are all a little dead inside and we are all a little bit lonely. But what happens, people, when you fuse the two? A little project called The Loneliest Boy in the World, a really fun horror comedy that explores these themes that we are all feeling. We know, like being isolated and friendship and community. Lucky for you, I have the stars with me today. These hunk of men. Okay. And actually, this just premiered at Screamfest. And guys, I actually had the creator of Screamfest on my show last week. So here we go. What a 360 moment. Everybody, welcome Hero Fiennes, Tiffin, and Max Harwood. Hello, boys.
Hi,
What's going
how are
on?
you? You good?
How is it going? Loneliest boy in the world. Indeed. Like I said, though, aren't we a little like it's true? Where's the lie? Like we all are grasping for friendship. In this case, Max, your character is so isolated. He literally goes lengths to have dead friends who become zombies. This is no spoiler. And Hero, you are one of them. So, and also the movie is badass, really fun, kind of retro Stranger Things vibe, has Evan Ross, Ashley Benson. So in this modern fairy tale, I want to hear from you guys. You're both in your mid-20s. Obviously, like I said, this is something we all grapple with, especially when it comes to social media. Because right, it's like you can have that community, but also we've never been so isolated. Talk to me about that experience for you guys individually, and is social media something you would give up?
Well, you just triggered me by saying that I'm in my mid-20s, and I know that's not old, but
I had that
like,
same thing too. Oh God.
I've got some stuff to do. I've got some stuff to do still before we start being in the mid to late 20s for me. But would I give up social media? Do you know what? I really would love to, if I'm honest. I would really love to give it up. I think, unfortunately, fortunately, it's where we get to connect with the people who care about us and care about our work. And unfortunately, it becomes a bit of a tool and a place in which people can discover you and hire you these days a lot. So I don't think I could give it up fully, but I definitely in the last 2 years, as I've stepped into the public eye a bit more, taken a bit more of a step back approach to it.
Hero, before you answer, you have what, like 7-something million followers, you're star of the After franchise, right? Be honest now, given even what Max just said, all of our experiences, and you guys had social media before I even did, not that I'm going to age myself, boys, but would you say it is more of a blessing or a curse, honestly?
A blessing, definitely more of a blessing. 100%. I think it's just like, it's just hard to navigate, isn't it? It's just it easily consumes you, and it easily like warps your perception of what matters and people's opinions. That you shouldn't really be hearing what thousands of people are saying on the other side of the world about you. But if it's all positive, then that's great. And it's just like, it's a bit of a slippery slope, isn't it? There's pros and cons. And I think if you manage it in the best way, you can kind of like almost remove all the cons and just deal with the pros. So I do think it is a good thing. It just kind of takes some skill and practice to navigate.
Do you guys, even though you are in this business, you have adoring fans, you are connected through social media, but do you guys relate to this film in terms of feeling isolated, and how?
Yeah, I think so. As we've shot this film during the pandemic, so like lots of us had obviously like spent so much time on our own, and spent so much time not going on dates, and like not seeing people and not seeing friends, and being very single. So like that's like a thing. Of course, like it was kind of very easy and to tap into that feeling of loneliness for this one, for sure.
And look at your character. The pandemic is the first thing I thought about, because he has this mother who shelters him, doesn't let him in the outside world. And I thought, wow, I had no idea that ironically you had shot through the pandemic. So
yeah.
And Hero, how about you? Are there times when you're like, I know I'm connected with all these people, but I'm feeling like the loneliest boy in the world myself? right now.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm very lucky that I have a really good group of friends who I'm still really close with, and we all live near each other. So I'm very lucky in that sense. But I think that almost like stresses after doing this film how lucky I am to have that, and how important it is to have good friends that you can lean on around you. And yeah, man, lockdown was tough for everyone, and it was just really nice to have the opportunity to make a movie that slightly kind of addresses these issues. But then also like the fact that we were filming all in one hotel, but it was a very homely hotel, and it was just the cast and people working on the movie who were staying there. So it was like that was an escape from lockdown in itself, to be able to like make this movie. And obviously we had loads of COVID protocols and all that stuff, but even to just be able to work together with a bunch of people and go back and stay at the same place, play cards, have a meal together, it was really nice. It was we were so lucky to have that in the middle of the pandemic.
Because in the end of the day, it sounds cheesy, but we all need community, right? And I mean, I grapple with this, of course, on my show all the time, but we've never been more divided. And it's sad because in the end, we're social creatures. We need that. And this movie captures that totally. Speaking of, social media and the idea of community, and again, even like for you guys and your age group, how prevalent it's been in your lives more so than my peers. Do you ever let like the number of followers next to your name? I feel like we associate it with how important somebody is. And do you ever feel that seeping into your psyche? Like, yeah, I'm important because I have, because I'll be honest, it messes with my head. I don't have enough followers. Oh yeah, I have this, right? Like,
have we all seen that episode of Black Mirror where
with Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yeah, man.
I know, it's my favorite episode.
It might be mine. It's unreal. It's so good. But yeah, it's so, I mean, subconsciously, but I think most people are smart enough to know that's not the case. But I think it's one of those things where like subconsciously you kind of do, but obviously that's just not true. Everyone does a number 2 in the toilet and can get hit in the face. So like, you're not special. I don't care how many you have.
It makes me sad because even business wise, it'll be like, you have to have this number, you have to reach a number. And it's like, that's as if that's the value of a person and the worth of a person. Yeah. And that's where society's become.
My friend says, everyone puts their trousers on one leg at a time, which is nice because that gives me this image of like some Superman jumping into his trousers 2 legs at a time, which would be really cool. I'd love to be able to do that, but no, we all put our trousers on 1 leg at a time. So yeah, I think I understand the question completely, but I think it's important to vocalize that that's just obviously not the case. It doesn't make you special at all.
Period. And Max, any thoughts?
What are my thoughts on this? Is like it's like a very nuanced question with a very nuanced response. Like we're very aware, like from a business perspective, in terms of like making movies and numbers and stuff. Like those numbers are helpful to get people to come in and engage with your work. So like I think the way that I have learned to come to the realization with this is that I use the platform as a way of connecting with whoever wants to connect with me. And also I know what my job is, which is to be an actor, and my job is not to be a social media influencer.
Period.
And I get to share the things that I love with the people that are on that journey with me. And I'm very like upfront about that generally, like in my life and with my fans and stuff. I love fashion and I love art and I love music, and I just see these things as a platform to share my work. And I actually don't think you can value yourself on it, because actually, like, you look at some of the greatest actors of our lifetime, you look at some of the most accoladed filmmakers of our lifetime, they ain't verified, they haven't got 1 follower, and they're not on Instagram, but they're some of the best filmmakers in this world. And I actually just think you just have to gain a bit of perspective. And yes, there is the pressure for, I definitely think, the younger generation, like, definitely to be on it, to use it as a business tool, but also like it's one of those things, and everyone has a very different relationship with it. And if you can look at it from the perspective of like, I have autonomy over this platform that I'm using, and you try not to look at the numbers too much, hopefully people will authentically connect with you rather than thinking, oh my God, they're trying to like boost their profile, or they're trying to do this, or they're trying to sell me this, or all of this stuff. But that's not my job. I'm not a social media influencer, and if I wanted to do that, I would be doing that. But instead, I'm here talking about my new movie that's coming out.
It's a Thursday and he's taking us to church. Say it louder. I always think that with Stevie Nicks, my hero. I'm like, she doesn't have billions of followers. Like, I don't know how many she has, and she's Stevie effing Nicks. So case in point, last question for you guys, because I know that we have to wrap. I love about this story that I always resonate with the underdog and the misfit and someone who doesn't fit in. And I know for me in my work, I'm very obviously vocal, and especially in today's climate, I don't fit in a box. And I come up against that a lot. People on all sides, both sides, oh, you're not quite a fit. Oh, and they like don't know what to do with me, right? Because it's not in a neat little box. Talk to me about how you resonate with feeling like sometimes you just don't fit in.
I think it's about redefining what normal is. And I feel like that's what this film taps into as well, is it's about like, actually, like, what is normal anyway? Like, you know, we all have our uniqueness, and you're talking about like being put into a box on whatever parameters that is, whether that's like, you don't look like someone, you don't act like someone, or like, but like, who cares? Like, do you, and also like, you're only gonna further the pin drop for other people by being authentically yourself, right? So like, if there's no one like you yet, be the person for someone who is like you for them to step up and step forward. And that's kind of how I see it, and how I see my responsibility being an actor and being a queer actor in this space. You know, I'm very vocal about that, and it's just important to me, and that can be hard to do for sure. But I think the more we are ourselves, the more we can open doors for thousands of other kids across the world.
And Hero, how about you? Beautifully said. Yeah. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, Hero, someone like you would think like he has it all together. Again, face of this huge franchise, like good looking and young, and has it all. Both of you guys has it all going for them. Like, is there a way that you're like, you know, I kind of feel like an outcast in this way? And what is it?
Yeah, I think whenever you do, and I think everyone will come across it, you know, will be in a scenario where they feel like they don't fit in. And obviously some people are more privileged to not feel like that so often, and some people are less fortunate and feel like that very often. And I think, just like Max said, it can be so difficult to resist the temptation to pretend you fit in just to feel more comfortable. But if you can, I think it's a heroic thing to do, to not fit in and stand proud. And like Max says, eventually, I'm sure other people who equally don't fit in will see you standing proud and will fit in with you. And before you know it, you've got a bigger circle of people who never used to fit in, who now fit in with you and your circle and your beliefs and what you like and what you do. And yeah, I can imagine that's definitely. So obviously, it can be challenging, but yeah, if you can be brave enough to be lonely and feel alone and not pretend to be something else to fit in, then I'd commend that.
And as actors, I'm sure you feel that in a sense, because as creatives, we're all a little quirky. Like, we're not like everybody else, you know? We got a special bone in our body.
Yeah, I'm weird. I'm really, truly weird. I mean, I'm so weird.
You're what,
I said I'm weird. I just made a film.
Oh, weird. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're proud.
Decided to dig up some dead bodies. Like, who does that? Only actors, right?
And it was just as fun to watch. So boys, I got to let you go. That's a wrap. What a fun movie and great conversation. Great to meet you guys, friends, dead and old, young and new. There we go.
Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank you guys.
Take care.
Take care.
All the best.
Bye. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.